you want to say anything about this portrait? Who's the portrait of?
Who? What portrait? John Wolfenden, yeah, kind of. I wanted you to talk about me.
Well, okay, start with you then.
Because I'm very old now, and I can't walk. That means I can walk if somebody walks with me. It's a disabling condition from which there is probably no cure. I'm stuck with it until I die. But I'm 74, so I don't mind dying. I've had a good life. I've had a good life. And it's lovely here looking out the window, because there's a courtyard, and then on the other side of the courtyard are terraced houses of various kinds, little ones, poor ones, all kinds of little ones. Some are quite big. And this is how I wanted St Anne's, when I got involved in it, to be like a collection of big and small, and they were beautifully built, just like these houses are beautifully built, and they knocked them all down. And I could walk though in those days, but now I can't walk. But I could look out here and remember many things. Dorothy Smith, Jill McGuire, Mark Berman, Arthur Leather, many people from this long life. Hiccup. Can you erase the hiccup in the middle?
Oh, of course.
No, that was a joke. That was a joke. I never wanted to do St Anne's. It was all an accident, that was. Did you want to hear about me and St Anne's?
Yeah, sure.
That was all an accident, that was. I'd done a talk on anarchy at the Bell Hotel in town on Slab Square. Nice old medieval pub. And the then owner of the Bell Hotel, Mr. Jackson, listened to part of the talk and said, "I'm not having you talk like that, not in this pub, get out." And so we went across the road to Yates's, and it formed a very good friendship, which has lasted. They were students of architecture, and they were working their apprenticeship for the city architect here. And they came to see me one afternoon because I was known as an anarchist, and they'd known me in the Bell Hotel. And have a look at this, Ray, they said. And there were these plans. And they were just appalling for building all over the valley. I can see why from an architectural point of view, because it's quite a valley to filling with houses because it's a very steep-sided valley. Somebody has stolen the wine. Somebody's always stealing my wine. Can we see it somewhere? It'll be in a mug. Or they'll have gone to look for a glass or something. Mm-hmm. Is it in that Skegness mug? Is that yours?
It's yours.
Why?
You just poured it.
Oh, do you know? So they said, we've got to do something about it. Oh. So I said, we'll invent this society and we'll call it a residents association and see what happens. We'll put it was very well done. We'll put a leaflet through everybody's door and there'll be different leaflets. There'll be, I've forgotten how we did the difference now. But the point of doing it, two versions of one leaflet is it gets neighbours talking, see? Oh, don't say that in mine. We hired St Catherine's Hall. It was the vicar at the time was a great man. Great man. He was a great help. He was an Anglo Catholic. Yeah, he was a great help. He used to go flowing down the road in his frock, cassock. They were lovely days. Fighting to keep what we could of St Anne's. And we had lots of successes. Your voice goes when you get older. We had lots of successes. Lots. Little bits. Cromer Road, and parts of Bluebell Hill, and I remember there was a stage when the Deputy City Planning Officer, he says, we'll have a look, Ray, can you take me round St Anne's and we'll have a look and see what can be saved. And we walked up a street called Lamartine Street. No, we were never thinking of knocking those down, said the City planner. No. I don't know about those, he'd say. Don't know about those. I said, put it to the committee then, Jerry. And he said he'd put it to the committee. Then we got to a street called Harcourt Street, Harcourt Terrace, at the back of Victoria, and I stopped on that street. It's a lovely sunny morning. I remember it well. And Jerry says to me, he says, you can't write it. You can't be suggesting we keep those. So I says, we'll go to the pub, Jerry. We went into the Newmarket. I don't know, he said, I'll put it to the committee, Ray, but then I can't put it with any recommendation. Do you know they're still there? That little terrace is still there. Scruffy old terrace. But now I'm very old and I can't walk properly. It's really sad. I mean, I can't get from here to the pub without a taxi.
So you used to travel around a lot for the BBC?
Oh, that was with another life. That was, yeah.
Do you want to say something about that?
Yeah, I mean, I did lots of stuff with the BBC. Sometimes it was regional. Very rarely it was mostly national. And there'd be half-hour documentaries. It was quite good stuff.
So did you do the research, or did someone do that for you?
No, I did the research, most of it, and I then had people who worked for me. So I would find the idea, and we'd agree it, and go out and do it. That's how I did.
Did you do your own recording, or did someone come round recording it?
Someone.
Around sounding.
In those days, you had a van, a whole big van. In these days, and the days I'm talking about for my life, yeah, a whole van came with you. Mm-hmm. There's a lovely story that other people tell about me. Our first one was in. Our last one was no, our first one it was. This would be our first one. It was from Bolton, and the last item. No, let me start again. That one. There's a. We'd have 3 items in the half hour, and the first item on this first programme we ever did, and they were live. It's lovely doing live telly because nobody can stop you. It's too late, darling. And she wanted a wooden ramp.
So it's in Manchester?
In Bolton,
yeah.
She wanted a wooden ramp to wheel her wheelchair from the road to the pavement in her house. It finished up crackers with the alderman he'd be in those days. They had aldermen saying if we did one, we'd be doing them for everybody. And me saying it's just silly that, because there aren't many people want them. Just a silly argument. And it was spectacularly successful. Live telly, really good production team. Enormously successful. I remember going up after that into the big van, and the director said, "Where the fucking hell did they fucking find you fucking from?" I says, "Oh, all right, I'll catch the bus home." And I came back home to Nottingham. And in the morning the phone went, and maybe the afternoon the phone went, and it was the head gaffer, and he just said, "Where are you, Ray? Just get here, will you?" We're going to Liverpool next week.
So it started
was
off.
enormously successful. Yeah. And I used to think its success was all to do with the fact that I've done Radio 3 and Radio 4. It wasn't. It was because the manager of the Playhouse, that's the man who looks after the fabric, had known of what I was doing down here. And they were planning a new set of programmes, and they said, we'll have Ray on every week. And so I did that for about a year, 2 years. And then I wouldn't do it. I don't know what the row was about. I decided, I took the hump, and I wouldn't do it. They went round casting agencies in London with a picture of me, looking for somebody who looked like me. Right.
But you've always been fond of Bolton then?
Not particularly, no. No. I've never been fond of anywhere, really. Wasn't fond of St Anne's. It was like a job that had to be done. A right had to be wronged. They had to be stopped putting together the demolition of it. But now I'm very old, but I've got a good view here. It's like a sort of old age home for the aged. It suits me.
Okay, do you want to say anything about Lord Wolfenden now? Or?
Lord Wolfenden was another part of my life. Lord Wolfenden was he was a grand Liberal Labour sort of member of the House of Lords, and he was known for being, he wasn't gay at all, but he was known for being a supporter of what's now called gay rights. And we loved him and said it's not good enough having motions in the House of Lords. Got to do something. And so we persuaded him, and we ourselves did what became the gay movement in this country. It later went to America, but we started it all. There was another lord who had to be, he was committed, Lord Arran. He was in favour of it. And then when we said gays need somewhere to meet as well, he wouldn't have that. If I'd have known they wanted buggers clubs, I'd have never introduced that bill. And later on that was picked up in Burnley We'll have no buggers clubs in Burnley. That was one of my Roman Catholic priests. He put adverts on the buses. We'll have no buggers clubs in Burnley. So we called a public meeting on that question. And I did the public meeting. I remember it was a rainy night and I was late. We came to the town hall in Burnley. And suddenly there was a mass of police. You know, like 20, 30 police. And there were like all these bother boots. And the police had said to it was the skinhead days. The police had said to the skinheads, we can't stop you coming in, but take your boots off. And so they left all their boots on. Yeah, so I'm responsible for gay rights. Yeah. I didn't mind.
Do you want to tell us about this award with the boomerang on it? How did you get an award with a boomerang? Did you go to Australia?
No, I wouldn't go. I don't want to. Never wanted to go anywhere. I wanted in Australia, in Melbourne. There's quite a lot of what you call silverware around this room. Poland, Italy.
Yeah, so you weren't just in England, you travelled around different countries.
These would be for English places. So we make films about English places. And they'd be sold for the States or for wherever. But later on, I worked in the States. I had a panicky driver. She was my producer-minded driver. God, she was panicky. We broke down coming between JFK and Broadway, between the big airport and Broadway. And the Ethiopian taxi driver says, I got a flat. So I did just what you have to do. You help your driver. And she was absolutely screaming. My colleague says, you can't do this, not in the middle of the Bronx. We didn't have any trouble at all. If I'd gone earlier, I'd have stayed in America. Maybe not in New York, maybe in Chicago.
So, what was that one about? Chester, it looks like an Oscar.
Yeah, they do look like those things, yeah. That was, where was that from?
74.
I don't know where it sounds like American.
Television production. Well, it says Chester, Portrait of a City.
No, that it was a portrait.
Oh, yes, it is.
Chester.
Chicago International Film Festival.
Yeah,
Wow. And then that's the Grierson, so is that for the bankrupt? Oh, Ray Gosling, OAP.
That's for OAP, yeah.
Yeah.
I want a lot of those things.
Yeah. Well, it's a fabulous sculpture.
They are kinds of sculptures.
So what was that? That was sort of, you came back again doing those programmes about OAP and bankrupt and...
No, they were both home for here,
Mm.
but they won prizes in America.
Mm.
No, I didn't come. It didn't come back.
I mean, there was a gap in your doing programmes for a while, and then there was a series of programmes then.
Was there? I can't remember what they did. Can you pass me my shoes?
I think you're gonna... Well, should we turn this on?
No, keep it on.
All